Hey there, hi there, ho there, hello there, and welcome to another exciting edition of the Cardinal Couple Radio Hour podcast, where we endeavor most times to bring you the joy and excitement of UofL women's athletics. And the reason I say that rather facetiously is because right now there just isn't a whole lot in the pot to serve. Okay, uh, we got a few things we'll talk about today, but by and large, no contest results to report to you. No intrigue and innuendo about any of the players or anything like that. It's just kind of like we have always called the dead period of the summer. And so, and Case is trying to, I think, gently goad me into doing a quiz for the show.
No,
I,
no. I was only saying that we won't have one, and we may be sad about that because we will scramble to make it through our hour.
those melodic voices you heard were Case and Jeff McAdams, who are on the broadcast today with me. And if, I have to give myself a little time to prepare for one, but I might do one for next week. You never know. Uh, Case just wants to, see him he can extend his dominance over the rest of the staff here in the quizzes. That's just purely, for egotistical for him. But we'll come up with something maybe. In fact, see what happens with that as well. But as you heard me mention, I've got a broadcast of three today. Me, Case, and Jeff. Jared is at. I guess he's already out in the Caribbean, huh? From what
No,
I'm. No,
he
not
wouldn't. He
yet.
wouldn't have been able to text.
Yeah,
Well, he
because
might
he
have.
did text earlier today, but maybe he found a.
Gosh, it's so expensive. I wouldn't.
Oh, would it be that
Oh,
much?
I get free texts internationally.
Yeah, but you have no service on the boat.
Well, I don't know if he's on the boat yet, but he might be in the Caribbean.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, we don't know his exact schedule, so yeah, they're
We
going
know.
on a cruise. So
Yeah, he knows they're on a cruise. Katie's with him. We're not sure if they're at water yet or not, and we're pretty sure Jared has already befriended 5 or 6 people, uh, a couple of the family dogs in the area, and also has decided to transfer all his allegiances and all his loyalties to the Puerto Rican national team this year. So good luck to Jared in that aspect. I hope he finds a lot to cover. Uh, Daryl unfortunately got a bit of the bug that's going around here and will not be joining us today as she spent, in her words, a pretty rough night getting back and forth from the bathroom to the bed. So, uh, sympathies with her. Hope she can get over it. And there is a bug going around, guys. So, do the thing that your mom taught you when you were just a wee lad to wash your hands every chance you get. Okay, keep yourself away from it. But we got a fun show lined up today. We'll do a couple things. Let's go ahead and bring in the cast of participants in it today. Uh, Jeff with us today, and Jeff is actually going to be doing a little cruising on his own down the road. So, what's going on, Jeff?
yeah, a couple of weeks from now, heading up to starting out in Iceland, North Atlantic, Iceland, Norway, Belgium, ending up in England. So looking forward to that. Should be a nice cruise, a little cooler, particularly in Iceland. But yeah, it should be fun. Look at just trying to get through a couple of weeks of work. Got a lot to do before I can really take off on that. But everything's kind of scheduled out and worked out. But it's gonna be close.
Certainly wishing you the best of fun on that, and go up there and find Minnie Mink Forrest and find out whatever happened to her.
Yeah,
And if you can, put her in baggage and bring her back to the
yeah.
States. We would like to have that. But yeah, sounds like fun.
Yep.
Case with us as well. Case, what's been going on with you this week?
Much enjoyed the long week end last week, I guess, and the short work week that was. Did a soft day on Monday, which just ended up turning
Yeah.
into PTO for the whole day because nobody ever reached out. Actually, somebody emailed me early in the morning, and I emailed them around lunch to say I could get on a call. Maybe I figured I could save an hour of PTO, and then they never emailed back. So I guess they gave up on their day as well. I did like Jared's text. His implication that you don't see somebody you know every single time you're at the Louisville airport. he seemed shocked by the fact that he found somebody that he knew there. But I can't tell you the last time I've been in the Louisville airport and not seen somebody that I knew.
I'm hit and miss on that. I feel like I'm about 50%, but
In my trips to the airport, as of recent, I've not been to fly out anywhere, but to greet people that are coming in. Okay, Sonny and I will do that from time to time, and in fact, the last time we were out there was when my cousin was flying in from Seattle. So we were waiting, near where they come through and depart, and
Mhm.
they only let you go so far before they stop you. The way it works in there, so we're sitting in that little bar down there,
Mhm.
waiting to see who's coming through, and who should we see but Kenny Klein. Kenny Klein has an entourage with him coming in from a flight that had just landed, and so he noticed me and kind of waved to me. Walked over and I said hello to him. He said, "Did you come here to greet me?" I said, "Yeah, Josh sent me down with this pink slip for you. I'm not sure what it means. I know you don't work here anymore. Maybe they're firing you from being a volunteer. I don't know." He got a kick out of that.
Yeah.
I did not ask him what he was doing.
I run into people I know in other airports frequently. That's the weird thing. Like Atlanta.
Oh well,
I've
I
got
mean, Louisville doesn't fly direct to almost anywhere, so
Well, I mean, fair. But yeah, I've run into people I know in Atlanta's airport. Of course, it's gargantuan. So yeah, quite frequently. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
we got 45 nonstop flights to Atlanta out of Louisville and one to
Mhm.
Charlotte.
Yeah.
It's a pretty varied schedule.
You
And
can go anywhere you want as long as you're in a box and
it's,
leave at 3 a.m.
I have to fly to Minneapolis for work, and I was
That's
like,
correct.
oh, I guess I'll have to do that Sun Country cheapo thing.
No, that's
But
a
no, we
Delta
got
hub.
Delta. Yeah, we
Yeah.
got Delta flights
Yeah.
direct, so that was nice.
that's not a Delta
Minneapolis.
offshoot, is it?
Oh, it
I
might
mean,
be.
I'm sure
Probably.
it's whatever the Delta version of American Eagle is.
Yeah. Okay.
But we can get direct to Minneapolis. We can get direct to Detroit too. Also Delta.
I always feel like whenever I actually need to fly to Chicago or Atlanta, I can't get direct flights. It's like that's where you want to stop. No, you're going somewhere else first.
Yeah.
If you want to fly anywhere else, you can fly to one of those places first. But no, if you're trying to stop there, we got to take you somewhere else.
My favorite greeting story of all time, I'll just get this out of the way real quick here, was years ago. My father, late father, was flying back in and had me drop him off at the airport a few days earlier. So consequently, it was my job to go pick him up again. Okay, fine, no problem. We had his flight time and everything like that. And so I'm sitting there, and back then you could actually walk all right up to the gate. This was many years ago, where they were coming in, and just see them as they came through that long tubulous tunnel and came out into the main part of the concourse. So fine, I'm sitting there waiting, and I see these four guys walk out, and this is early '70s. Okay, they all got kind of long hair, and they're just kind of looking around, bewildered a little bit, and I'm thinking to myself, I bet that's a band. I bet that's a band who could be in town. Who's and I said, I bet that's Kiss, because Kiss was scheduled to play in Louisville
Yeah.
the next night. So, being the brash young man I was, I walked right up to him. I said, "Hey, hi, you guys Kiss?" And I think it was Paul Stanley, but I can't remember which one of the guys looked at me and said, "Yeah, you're taking us to the hotel."
I thought you were the limo driver.
Yeah. So I said, "Oh no, I'm just a big fan." And they kind of shrunk because they weren't in costume. They were just
Yeah.
street guys. And I said, "No, we're looking for our ride. Sorry, man." And they shuttled off real fast.
Yeah.
And like a minute later, my dad comes through because he was way back in the coach. And I said, "Hey, Dad, I saw Kiss get off your plane. You were on the same plane with Kiss." He goes, "Well, I didn't get any kisses on the plane. I can guarantee you that."
Typical dad humor response.
Yes.
Right.
Even back then.
But then I actually went to the Kiss concert the next night. So how about that? Many moons ago, but that's my airport story.
It's funny you mentioned Kenny Klein. I used to live 2 or 3 doors down from Kenny Klein.
Now that was in Shelbyville, or
No, one of the houses I lived in college.
and he
off
lived
Eastern
on
Parkway.
he lived on Delora for a while.
Yep.
But it was not my end of Delora. It was the other end of Delora, the one that was more centered toward Audubon Park than Shelby Street, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, it was right off of Eastern Parkway.
Yeah. I didn't know that she had a rental back that way.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
tons of fun.
Yeah. We ended up renting ours to college kids after we first moved out on Delore, and then realized that was a mistake after 6 months, and then kind of bounced around.
Didn't let them renew that lease, huh?
Oh, I when I told them, they had to go seek other lodging. It was a year contract, and I told them after 3 months I'd had enough, basically. But one of the things that I needed them to do was to repaint the basement, because the basement was just pretty much drywall and had not been painted or anything like that. They had a party down there one night, and some of them got a hold of magic markers and stuff like that, and decorated all the walls in my basement with sayings, with pictures, with stuff like that, and in like 8 foot high letters on one of the walls, the words "I'm on a boat, bitch" was scrawled.
I gotta change that. Hang on, I gotta update the settings on the podcast episode. It's from a song, Paul. It's very popular back then.
I know. I remember the song, but I thought that was pretty interesting once you went down the steps to my basement and walked into the main room. The words "I'm on a boat, bitch" greeted you.
You mean there wasn't a boat down there?
I had no boat in my basement. No, I did not. I was accused of having weapons down there at times, but I did not. We used to play a lot of poker down there, guys like Sean, and I don't think your dad ever played with us.
Not a poker player, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, but Mark Thompson would play down there with us, and some of the other guys that you might know would play down there. Bob Meyer, if you remember Bob, and some of the others. So, had some pretty monumentous poker games down there, buddy. But so yeah, now that we've diverged quite a bit here from what the show's actually about, let's go ahead and get into maybe a little bit of a scheduling and Twitter information and see if there's anything happening. And let's discuss this phenomenon where people are saying Twitter has a competitor now. Fill us in here, Case.
How many do you want?
Yeah.
Well, for scheduling, there is actually something on the schedule. Thank you to our women's basketball team for participating in that international summer event. So, as we were talking about a little bit before the show, no TV listed for any of these. The 2023 Global Jam event. Louisville as the United States representative. The U.S. just sends one collegiate team instead of an international team of players. But they'll be without Marissa Russell, who's playing for Team Canada. Their first game, that whole event is over the next week/weekend. Their first game is on the 12th of July. They're taking on Team Puerto Rico. They will take on Marissa Russell and Canada on July 13th at 5 p.m. And then another game on Saturday and another on Sunday. They play Team Africa, which is not a country, Global Jam. They got an entire continent, I guess.
Paula
Yeah.
referenced the Puerto Rican national team earlier, so
Well, yeah.
Like you said, welcome to the world of international sports where things get weird.
Yeah. Team Puerto Rico, where Puerto Ricans are eligible to play for Team USA. Team Canada, and then Team Africa. So that's at 11 a.m. on Saturday, and then their last game of that event will be against whoever. Sorry.
Yeah, they
clicked on that before. I said that's the gold or bronze medal game.
That's on Sunday, right? The semifinals and then the finals. Or is it 3 versus 4 and 1 versus 2?
I think it's just
okay.
I think that it's just a round robin, and then you're either playing for first or playing for third.
And also surprising, I had not seen anything that Russell was going to play for the Canadians in that.
Oh, then I may have spoken out of turn there. I thought that she was, but if that's not the case, then I apologize for.
I know she's on Team Canada.
My incorrect description there.
We'll see what happens there. If we see her in our jersey, fine. I mean,
sorry. I was remembering a post that I had seen of her being named to Team Canada for the Women's AmeriCup.
Right.
but that is not this global jam event.
Oh, that's good. I wonder if Narika Chrono will come back over and play for anybody.
Not in this event, I don't guess.
I did see that she was playing pro ball over in Japan, and had a cult following of little girls. Like little girls were following her everywhere she went. They're so enamored with her.
Yeah, she's getting a lot of attention over there playing ball, which is great. I mean, fantastic for her.
Absolutely so. I wonder if she took any Wallace's mannerisms and techniques over there with her. Like throwing stuff out on the court and giving that 1,000-mile stare to people.
She's gonna be promptly escorted to not in the arena anymore for some disrespectful behavior. I think if she tries to behave like Jeff Walls.
Yeah, I don't think they'd bring Walls into to sub coach in that league anytime soon. But all right, what else? Anything else on scheduling we need to know about? Anything?
No, that's the schedule. It's pretty thin. But usually there's nothing on it this time of year. And looking ahead, it gets a little blank in the weeks ahead. But as for Twitter, I'm still there. The jokes now are, I think daily you see memes of the captain from the Titanic movie. Everybody going down with the ship, refusing to join one of the many competitors. But I tweeted as best case scenario. Twitter finally got all of its servers migrated since they didn't want to pay Google, so I didn't have to deal with rate limits or not being able to share my tweets anymore. Now that they sorted that out, Jeff tweets is at Card Couple Radio, and at Jeff McAdams. Polly is at Cardinal Couple. Jared is at Mr. Anderson Jared, and Daryl is at Daryl Faust 4. I don't know anybody's Instagram handles, so I will not be able to direct you to any of their Threads accounts if they have them. Meta,
no intention.
Facebook trying to take over again.
No intention of even touching that one.
There's always the fun of Elon saying that he was sure all those people that he fired for criticizing him were actually fired for incompetence and not being good at their jobs, and then suing Meta for hiring all of them and creating Threads.
Yeah.
Internet battles.
What a tangled web.
Yeah, indeed.
A tangled World Wide Web, even.
I had actually set up an Instagram years ago, and I forgot about it. And I got reminded, hey, you've got Instagram. And I go, that's great.
Yeah.
And I actually have some people following me on it. I've never put anything on there. So anyway.
I have an Instagram account. I don't think I've ever posted anything, but I do follow some people on it.
It's just, it's tough. I get all the distractions I need with just using the Facebook and the Twitter apps. I don't need anything else in my coffee. I'm sorry. I'm good. Thanks. All right. So is Twitter in danger? What do you guys think about this? I mean,
it's dying. Yeah.
It is,
Yeah, it'll be a long, slow death, but it's dying. Yeah.
So they've already, given it the last rites and disconnected the machine, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I have mentally, but since we've already broached the curse words, Twitter is yet the latest example of what I think Cory Doctorow is calling the enshittification of social media and other companies, where they try to make money out of something that really just ultimately ends up not being a very good business model. And
you spent $44 billion on it. You're trying to get something out of it.
In doing so, they forget what makes the service great and continually make it worse. So it's an interesting reading that he wrote. I'm pretty sure it was Doctorow. And it's kind of become the rage recently to talk about it. So in that term. So, yeah.
In popular modern day lexicon, the phrase "I'll have to tweet somebody about that." Oh, I guess that'll disappear in a couple of years, huh?
Yeah, that won't live long term.
Huh. So, what then? Okay, obviously there's a lot of people I know, and then you guys know as well, that are on Facebook. What's the one that's going to come in and say, "Move over, Twitter, we're taking your place here," or is there just one?
I don't think there's going to be a single one. I think there's going to be different communities of people on different ones. Just as there's been, Instagram and TikTok and Twitter in the past, there's going to be Mastodon and Blue Sky and Threads and all of these different systems and kind of different. Each of them is going to have their own vibe and have their own set of people on it. So, Threads is actually talking about federating with Mastodon. So ultimately, those two may end up being essentially the same. But yeah, I don't think there will be a single one to take over. I do a lot on Mastodon because there's a lot of tech people on there. The information security industry basically moved over to Mastodon en masse. So I'm there. I'll probably hop on Blue Sky. I don't know how much I'll participate in it.
If you can get an invite.
Yeah, exactly. If anybody has one. But I have no intentions of touching Threads. I haven't been on Facebook in several years. So, it's just each is gonna draw its own vibe and its own community. So yeah.
What is the Threads phenomenon, guys? I was reading information that over 3 million people had signed up the first day for it. Now it's over 30 million. What is it that's drawing all these people into, moss store to flame here?
It's Facebook.
Well, everybody already has an Instagram account.
Right.
The barrier to entry is very low.
Instagram or Facebook.
Yeah, you can open one of the apps that you're already on, and be prompted to make an account. So it's not.
Yeah,
it's not. You don't have to reach out to, or you don't have to. It's kind of like the exact opposite of Mastodon. Not that I'm saying Mastodon was overcomplicated, but everyone made it hyped up to be overcomplicated.
Thought it was. Yeah.
Right. So nobody did it. Whereas Threads could not be more simple. Blue Sky's invite only. None of the others are really taking off. I think that's all it is. Everybody sees a potential threat to or a potential viable option to replace Twitter, and so they need to establish themselves on it as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Even all the brands have done this one. It's the first that the brands have jumped to, as far as I'm aware.
It's all irrational as far as I'm concerned. Who chooses what? There's no rationality in it. I've like I said, I've been a big fan of Mastodon, and the refrain I hear over and over is, "Oh, it's crazy! You can't possibly expect people to pick a server to sign up on the first thing you do." And I go to Blue Sky just to kind of see what the initial thing. What's the first thing that's on there? Pick a server. Oh, but it's great. So I was promised that no social network could take off if you had to pick a server first, but not.
But Mastodon wasn't built by Jack Dorsey and looked exactly like
so
Twitter.
It's all irrational. None of it makes sense. It's all vibes and whatever. I'm kind of getting burned down on the whole concept. So
yeah, for me, it's when Twitter dies. The reason I'm not jumping to anything else is because I'm watching the social media addiction slowly be ripped out of my hands, and I'm like, oh no.
I have become it's a phrase that's been around for a while, but may also have been Dr. O, who knows. But it's a phrase called protocols. The phrase is protocols, not platforms. I don't want to buy into a platform. I don't want to buy into a company providing a platform. I want to buy into a protocol of a system that anybody can run. So if you think about like email, when you're on email, you're not beholden to a particular company or individual email addresses, but you can go get a new email address and transfer stuff over to it and, inform people of your new email address like you would with a new address if you moved houses, right? That's the protocol. Forward to it, do stuff like that. Yeah, because the protocols of email are very well established, complicated and finicky, but they're very well established. So that's kind of my take on it. I want to go with protocols, not platforms. So Blue Sky only moderately interests me right now because it has no federation, has no open protocol to work with. They are opening the protocol, they're working on it, and say they will. Okay. But Mastodon it's ActivityPub is the protocol that's open and out there. Threads might federate with ActivityPub, and so okay, but I don't trust Meta farther than I can throw them. But all these ones that are going off there and doing their private walled garden thing. I'm like, nope, no interest whatsoever.
The meta through Facebook, and obviously very, very popular for a lot of people in my generation, the older
Yeah.
generation. A lot of us are on Facebook. Is there anything that the other side does to come back and say, okay, let's take on Facebook now? Let's put something out there that's going to rival them and what they do. Is there anything like that in the offing?
It might. I mean, you can obviously add features and change the way your service works if you're an organization. But since so much of it is irrationality and vibes, I don't know how much effect it's really going to have.
I don't think that like Gen Z and Gen Alpha are interested in the phenomenon of social media
Yeah, it's
in
dropping
the
a
way
lot.
that millennials
Yeah.
were, and so like Facebook exists because MySpace blew up,
Yeah.
and uh, I just don't think that the interest is there for anybody to try and compete with it.
Wow, MySpace, a word I hadn't heard in a while.
Yeah.
Interesting. So, whatever it is, we may eventually hear at the site then on the radio, on the podcast, is we'll be doing scheduling and no Twitter. We'll have to wait and see. Could be interesting. We could do scheduling and what's your favorite app of the week, Case?
Yeah.
And we'll do it that way. Maybe that'll be something we can do. Or maybe have a guest app come in and explain their. Nah, I don't want to go there. So fun times ahead in the way that we communicate online with others. I think will be interesting to see what happens. But we're let's go to Canada for a while, shall we? I'm up for it. Let's see what's going on up there. As the Cards will be headed up there to represent the United States of America, Louisville women's basketball in the 2023 Global Jam. This event got started last year, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, guys, it was VCU who went up and represented
That
the
sounds
United
familiar.
States in that last year, and VCU did not win the event. I believe Canada won the event last year, if I'm not mistaken. So this is the second year for it. And what it is they bring in 4 teams. They play kind of a round robin thing, and then beginning on a Wednesday, I think they play a Wednesday, a Thursday, and a Saturday, where you get to play each one of the other 3 teams in this thing once, and then Sunday they simply have a winner and a third place type of playoff on Sunday. So you have the chance to go 4-0. You also have the chance to go 0-4. It's an all inclusive. You get to play 4 games no matter how good or bad you are. Interesting concept there. As a Team Canada, obviously there since they're hosting the event in Toronto at the what is it, Madnamy Athletic Center, the MACs. Yeah,
No idea.
in Toronto. Yeah, it's the Madnamy. Uh, Besides the Cards, of course, Canada, as I mentioned, Puerto Rico will also be there to play, and then this case was Team Africa, which an interesting kind of terminology for how do they form Team Africa? Where do what nations are represented? Are they all represented? Is it like one representative from each team in Africa, or how does that work out? And will we see Elizabeth Bell again? What's the deal here?
I can't find a way to see any of the rosters.
Yeah, I haven't.
Only tickets.
I have not been able to find a roster source either. Case that kind of disappointed me. But yeah, so the way I see it is, it's a nice pre-season thing for the Cards where they can get in some practices with the new roster they've got here. Where, golly gosh, I mean, we have 4 returning players from last year's team. That's it. Everybody else is new. So a good chance for them to get in some practices to kind of gel and get it together a little bit. A good chance for them to go over and play some competition before they get into actual play in the NCAA tournament, to see what they have, to see what they need to work on. And I can assure you that Walls and his staff will be watching very closely to kind of see what they've got with all these new players as well as the ones that have returned. And I think Marissa Russell, you talked about her earlier. I think she's going to be playing for Louisville.
Yeah, I think that's correct. I just found I was looking for more roster stuff. I found the news of the Canada U23 women's national team training camp roster that was finalized ahead of Global Jam, and she's not on that. So
Gotcha. Any players of note that we might recognize on there?
I didn't recognize any of the names. I was 17, so I didn't want to read
Gotcha.
all of them.
That's a pretty big list. But so it'll be fun for the cards. We are still trying to determine if anybody's going to pick this up to be watched on cable or not, or even regular television. We have already heard that there's going to be a men's version of this well, and the University of Kentucky has their men's team up there, and they will be shown on the CBS Sports Network, which Jeff and I were joking earlier. It beats Bally Sports. It's not a bad pick, but so we'll see if anybody, maybe Bally Sports will say, "Well, we'll pick up the women then." No, stay
don't.
away. Hopefully, CBS Sports will pick up the whole thing, men and women. That would be kind of fun.
I would think most of that would be finalized by this point, but
Yeah, but I was actually in dialogue with Matt Paris, the athletic, the assistant athletic director for Louisville women's basketball earlier, and he said there's no formal declaration on what channel it's going to be on yet. They're still working
Yeah.
at the details.
All of
Yeah.
the games are being covered by Sportsnet and Sportsnet Now in Canada, men's and women's. So I would be surprised if it wasn't, if Sportsnet sells the rights to someone that's not CBS Sports.
That would make sense. That would make a lot of sense. The thing that they've got to look at probably is it going to be rating worthy? Will they get people to tune in and watch it? So, can they show something else? Can they show like the combination beanbag horseshoe finals, which is a big event each year that people love to watch, where you actually try to throw a bean bag upon a single pole sticking up out of the ground, and then you throw your horseshoes on the beanbag board. It's a little noisy, but it's fun. The Cards, of course, taking their roster up there to take part in this thing, and I don't know, guys. We said that Jeff Waltz is going to be looking for certain things. I think maybe one of the first things he might be looking for here would be team unity, playing together as a team. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, developing some team unity, maybe, since they presumably have little to none.
That is true. They really don't have a lot of it yet. There's nothing there that you had some players back from last year. I mean, obviously Olivia Cochran's going to be one that's going to be pretty dominant in whatever plans that the Cards have as far as we can figure on a lineup, and she's kind of really jumped forward, if you've noticed it, and taken the idea of I need to be kind of like a team spokesman, team leader, one that everybody else can kind of go to and kind of take basically be the voice and the vocals that Haley Van Lith wasn't a lot last year. And I like the way she's been doing this, guys.
yeah, absolutely. She's recognized the need to do that, and that it's her time to step forward and do that. She's I don't know, maybe a little unconventional in some of her approaches to things in life in general, which is I think is delightful, but is certainly changes the approach a little bit. But hey, let's go for it. Let's see how to. I think she's got the charisma and personality to be able to be a leader, and just learning how to do it and be effective at it.
I think the other thing you're looking for in this event and this season in general is how well Jeff Walls and company and the players that are on the team are able to make it work, because next year is going to be the same. I mean, they brought in a ton of transfers, but you got Sydney Taylor grad transfer, Kiki Jefferson grad transfer, Marissa Russell's a senior, Nina Ricard's grad transfer, Elia Love, is a senior transfer. Olivia Cochran is a senior. I mean, you're turning over the entire roster again next year, pretty much. So um, this is kind of the test case for how Louisville can assemble a transfer heavy roster and make the season work, because they're going to need to do it. I think, just like a lot of teams are going to need to do it in basketball specifically, moving forward, rebuilding a roster year after year.
And we did see some vestiges of success in that, obviously, in the last basketball season where a crazy lady down in Baton Rouge brought in a bunch of transfers and LSU won a national title, despite her, which is probably one of the biggest feats of the 21st century that I can remember. That they actually won something with Kim Mulkey in charge. Uh, you may have noticed I'm not the biggest Mulkey fan out there.
No.
But, yeah, I didn't know if you guys caught on to that or yet.
I assure you, you're in good company.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
yeah. She's obviously, well, she's the coach of the national champion team, so there you go. She's got that going for her, and we'll see what happens. I think that Louisville will also benefit kind of playing so many games so quickly to kind of see how deep they can go and what kind of deep combinations they can put together in this thing as they play. Because it's, if you take a look at it, it's 3 games in 4 days. You play Wednesday, and in the Cards case, they'll play their first game against Puerto Rico on Wednesday at 11 a.m. Their next matchup comes Thursday, and then they play that one at 5:30 p.m., and that's Canada. They get a day off in there. Then they jump to Saturday, where they'll play their final round-robin game against Team Africa at 11 a.m. again. And then the finals will take place for the bronze medal and the gold medal, 11 a.m. on Sunday. The gold medal match being the latter of the two, as the bronze game will come up at 11 a.m. and then the gold medal match at 5 p.m. Yeah, and broadcast information, as they say, will be released at a later date. If you want to make the trip to Canada, tickets are available. So go ahead and do that. And I was kind of curious, if some people might even consider, just shooting up there to kind of see stuff like that and see what's happening. So I thought if I could take a quick look here, I'd get just kind of a general idea of what kind of cost there was on tickets for this thing. And
It looked like you can get the tournament pack, all 16 Global Jam games, $152.
That's less than $10 a ticket there. That's not bad, huh?
You can secure tickets to all 6 USA men's and women's round robin games, plus the men's and women's gold medal session, for $76. But you are assuming that the U.S. will make it to the gold medal game, because you wouldn't get to watch them if they played in the bronze medal session.
Well, that's an interesting one.
Oh, or maybe it is. No, I'm sorry, I misread that. You get the men's and women's. You get all of the men's. Oh yeah, no. All of the USA men's and women's round robin games, plus the men's and women gold medal session. So if the men or women only played in the bronze game, you would not get to watch that as part of that ticket package. You'd have to get a separate ticket.
My guessing there's going to be a lot of big blue in that arena. Just because of the loyalty of Kentucky men's basketball fans going to anywhere that the Cats happen to be playing. So probably see a lot of blue up in Canada. Hopefully not, too predominant. Moving on just a little bit. Obviously, we're going to wish the Cards the best of luck like that.
Oh, I was going to ask something.
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
Well, 2 things, I guess. First, I think the reason there's no rosters is because there aren't any. I don't think that they're going to be known by the organizers of the event until the teams show up. It seems like. Because if you just Google like any of the teams and their rosters, nothing shows up. There's no news about anything for the other teams. Canada it was even only the training camp roster. They didn't announce who's actually playing in the event. I assume they're not going to have 17 players there. So so nothing there. So that's interesting. And then the other question that I had, because I was looking at the roster, is Ema Fidon going to play this season?
I believe she's going to redshirt for Louisville.
Yeah,
Last I saw.
because her class on the roster is listed only as redshirt. so I assume that just means she's going to sit out.
And she's a rather unique story if you want to kind of get into the line on her. She didn't even actually begin playing basketball until 2019.
Okay, so this is a player that needs some development, then probably.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
Kogi Jang type player.
Yeah. The parents came to America. They sent her, I think, to a private academy her junior year up in Connecticut somewhere, and I think she played for a public school up in the Northeast somewhere her senior year.
She's listed as coming from Proctor Academy High School.
Okay, so maybe I had it backwards. It was public first and then private.
She was at Matthews Covenant Day in North Carolina, and then helped Proctor to a 14-7 in the NEPSAC Class AA League, one of the best prep leagues in New England.
And so it was actually two prep schools and one each year. Very good. So she's trying to learn the game a little bit. I mean,
she went 14, 11, and 2 points, rebounds, and blocks last season. So I think it's coming to her.
Yeah, I think she's picking up some fundamentals. And as Jeff Walls can tell you, you can't teach height. Yeah. You can teach how to be big on the court. You can teach how to play well defensively and stuff like that. But you can't teach 6'6". That's just there. And so maybe some good things for her down the road. We'll wait and see. That'll be fun to watch develop. Because the way it looks after this year, she might be one of the few returnees for the next season. Could be fun to watch. And we'll get into the team a little bit more down the road and what we've got there. But just to kind of give you a brief idea, this team has brought in some very good three-point shooters through the transfer portal. They've brought in two very decent point guards that will probably split time, or maybe one will just win the job outright, and the other one will come in reserve duty. And as much as we talked about how we thought Josie Williams would be a great addition last year for the Cards, and that never really transpired. She had her moments, but she didn't turn out to be the big dominating center that we all hoped she would. That was more or less Liz Dixon's role. We have a similar type this year in Henny, or as I like to call her, HVS instead of HVL, who's coming in from Cal State Bakersfield. We're hoping that she'll be able to give the Cards some important minutes inside, if not as a backup to Olivia Cochran, maybe on her own out on a wing or something. We'll see. A lot of good basketball talk and knowledge there. As we move it on over, I think, now to another sport that we love to watch in the fall, and actually the sport for the women that'll be first up, as though we'll play a August 6th exhibition up at Miami of Ohio against the Miami of Ohio squad up there. And that's in Oxford, Ohio, if I remember correctly, Jeff. Did I nail that?
Yes.
Yes. No such place as Miami of Ohio.
Yeah.
Which I was not aware of until about 2 years ago. I thought that Miami University of Ohio was in Miami, Ohio, but there's no such place. So,
yeah, that would be it. Go to the scenic palm trees of Miami, Ohio, and walk by the beach as you go. No, the Red Hawks up there. Soccer will start out the fall season for women's sports with that scrimmage up there against them, and one of the players that we loved to watch over the years and did some wonderful things, in the case talked about today. I mean, that kids are going to actually be playing for Bosnia and Herzegovina.
Bosnia and Herzegovina, is the name of the country. Yeah.
Herzegovina, Bosnia and Herzegovina. Very
Yeah.
good. I was gonna stumble over that and probably so
Most
nice.
commonly just referred to as Bosnia.
Yeah, the people are referred to them Bosnians, which, ignoring people groups in the Balkans has always worked out well.
Worked out for a whole country, of which 7 countries came out of, right?
Oh, yeah.
This is an interesting move for her. Her parents obviously were from Bosnia. As she's stated, and that's one of the reasons she's doing this is kind of a tribute to them. But what do you think of this move of leaving the comfort and the stability and then the fan base of the States to go play overseas like this case?
I think she wants to play international
Yeah.
soccer. I think is where that comes from. She was in the Team USA roster pool, but so are a lot of other really good players. It's the women's soccer talent in the U.S. Is very deep, and so she was going to be constantly competing for call-ups, and then even when she could get call-ups, be competing for playing time. And so this is going to give her the opportunity to play on the international stage, which is something she said was what she turned her focus to after graduating. She wanted to further her professional career and her international career, and this gives her the opportunity to do that. Her parents, I assume, part of the large immigrant group that left former Yugoslavia during the war, based on when she was born, and quite a few former Yugoslavians ended up in the U.S. or in Louisville. Went to school with a few, have worked with some.
We have a significant Bosnian population in Louisville.
Yep.
Yeah.
So not that surprising, I think. She probably has plenty of friends and family that will support her just as wholeheartedly as they would if she played for Team USA, playing for that Bosnian team. So I think it's good. She'll be able to get on the field more during international breaks. Won't just be playing against, the Racing Louisville scout team, or hoping to get an invite to Team USA camp. So I think it's going to be better for her and for her career, and hoping for the best for her doing it.
She had gone to Australia over the winter months and suffered an ankle injury down there, if I remember correct.
Correct.
Yeah, she broke her ankle, I think, 2 days after Christmas, maybe? Or maybe it was in Boxing Day matches, because Australia celebrates Boxing Day, I think.
I thought that I remembered. Yeah, okay, it was right around then. And then was able to actually play in a couple games for Racing before she decided to leave. I think she's good enough to play for Bosnia.
Mhm.
I think that she'll be able to play, and that's what she seems to be aiming toward, is playing time rather than playing team quality.
Well, to be clear, she's still going to be on. She's still a member of Racing Louisville.
Right.
This is only for international play. So instead of playing for Team USA, which she had done in the junior categories, she's declared her FIFA nationality effectively for Bosnia and Herzegovina. So when she, if they're playing in the Euro, or if Bosnia and Herzegovina qualifies for the World Cup, should be part of that team. But she'll still be a part of Racing Louisville as well. Racing Louisville is her club team, and then her international team will be Bosnia.
I did not know that you could participate in both. So
yeah, soccer is one of the. It's similar to Marissa Russell playing for Team Canada when she plays for UofL, or any of the players that go play for whatever country in the Olympics, that play in the NBA and WNBA. It's that same thing.
So a good opportunity for her then, so she won't basically give up her home or anything like that to have to move over there full time or anything.
She'll have to travel a lot more.
So
her international breaks will no longer be going to like Chicago for training camp. It'll be flying across the world.
Might word that as get to travel more,
True.
as opposed to have to travel more. But
Yeah, the travel's there. That's nice. Everybody loves to do that. So we wish her a lot of luck. She comes out to Fort Bosnia and plays for them. I was just kind of looking at some other things going on with her. Do you guys remember? Was she like one of the top five scorers of all time for Louisville women's soccer?
Uh,
I thought she was,
putting me on the spot here.
but then again, I'm not positive
Would have
on
been
that.
pretty high up, I would think.
Yeah, and I was
That
just kind of
is-
looking. Yeah,
Yeah. Trying to find historical records, but I don't see any.
I knew she was up there pretty high. Just kind of
Well,
taking a look here at
don't quite see how to find their historical statistics. Only how to find season statistics and season histories. Maybe it's on the media guide here.
I was just curious on that because I know she was pretty much the offense in an offenseless Karen Ferguson Days squad for a couple of years, where there wasn't much offense. She was Amina or nothing.
So she is not top 5 in goals, but she is 4th all time in assists. Doesn't crack the top 5 in points either, for similar reasons. But yeah, is in the top 5 all time in. Oh, sorry, that's seasons. Sorry, that is a season record. She is 4th all time in career goals, tied for second all time in career assists, 4th all time in career points.
So very good things for her. I was went back and started doing some other digging in basketball to show you how scatterbrained I am today. The Cards are listing 11 players that are going to head up and play up in Canada. 4 returnees from last year and 7 new players. And they also have Isosa listed on his roster to play in Canada.
Yeah, I bet they're going to have her play in anything that wouldn't threaten her redshirt eligibility.
That would be the question. I don't think this would interfere with that, would it?
No, it would
No,
not.
because this is all exhibition stuff.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Very good then.
I mean, theoretically, she could play in up to 5 games, I think.
So
Yeah.
it'll be fun to see
In the
if she
first
can
half
do
of the
that,
season, yeah.
Alexa Mobley, of course, also back, and such high hopes for her when she first came here.
Well,
Certainly,
if she can stay healthy.
that's the key, and that's what we're looking to see if she can do for one season.
Yeah.
Is not get hurt, stay healthy, and get out there. And I don't know, because of her knee injury and everything else that she's gone through and her leg injuries, whether that leaping ability is still the same as it used to be. I would think it's been somewhat affected with what she said they had done to her. I hope it hasn't, though,
Yeah.
because boy, could she sky.
Yeah, indeed.
Also seeing, we can talk a little bit of volleyball, Jeff, if you'd like. I know you never have any trouble discussing that with us.
Nope.
That they have hung a couple banners in the volleyball arena. One of them being the Final Four banner from 2021, and
that was already there.
The Final Four finalist banner from 2022.
Yeah, the 2022, the one from December was hung, and another Elite Eight. They did an Elite Eight one for last year. So those are the 2 new ones, and they look great. They're not the red sequins like 2019 was, but it's nice. Redecorating. Volleyball is like getting a lot done right now. Of course, they went on the trip to Brazil. They came back. They announced schedule. They posted, hosted banners. They did all kinds of stuff in a really short period of time. They're doing great things. So getting ready for the season to start. It's it's always good to see the new banners up when you walk in that first time.
And it's certainly a situation where if you want to catch the matches this year, I'm sure you would be one of the ones standing in line to recommend get tickets early.
Well, yeah. I mean, you can try to get tickets for LNN FCU Arena. Good luck. Your best bet to get tickets to see this team play is going to be to get them for the 3 matches at the KFC Yum Center. You may be
Are
just.
season tickets sold out already?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
Oh yeah.
how
yeah.
are you gonna you're gonna get standing room only basically to
Maybe,
get into an
yeah.
FCU match?
A handful of tickets available at the door type stuff, maybe. But it's pretty much a sellout for everything in LNFC already by a long way. So
In the group that you kind of hang with and associate there, Jeff, and you know quite a few different people like that. What are you hearing about people talking about the need for Louisville go to a bigger arena?
everybody says we need it. Nobody has any knowledge of any specific plans to happen.
That's something that it's kind of sad, really, if there's not any dialogue about that within the university yet.
I mean, I think even at the top levels of the athletic department, you probably have people going, yeah, this is something we really need to do. But, they got to get the money. Where do you get the money for it right now? So that's the big challenge.
The question, of course, is finance.
Yeah, somebody with a big name needs to step forward and say, hey, I'll put my name on it.
Dr. Mark and Cindy Lynn.
They're softball. Here they kind of had a falling out with the university anyway. But LNN FCU, where you at? Let's go. Or whoever, right? Needs to kind of we need something like that to step up and happen.
I mean, you saw it with like KFC, like Yum Brands did that.
Yeah.
I mean, they hosted a practice facility and then they ponied up and sponsored an arena.
Yep.
It would be not a very large leap for the same thing to happen.
Yeah.
Especially with Ellen and FCU throwing a ton of money across the street from the most likely location for something like that.
Yeah.
By sponsoring the football stadium.
Yeah. But maybe they're tapped out. But organizations like that, or individuals that are wealthy enough to be able to support that. And somebody like that steps up, I don't know that we're going to have an answer on that.
Yeah, you just got to wonder how Tom Jurich was able to accomplish all the things that he built up and down Floyd Street, and why Josh Hurd can't seem to get the money behind him and his team.
He's new. Give him some time.
Well, and I think it's easier to Tom Jurich had an easier case to pitch.
Yeah.
Louisville was playing in, very old, outdated, usually not purpose-built and not individual facilities, or far away from campus, and so he was able to leverage that into getting a bunch of new stuff, all right in the campus area and get everybody their own space. And Lynn Stadium exists because he had soccer sharing with
track
and field, but he built the track and field. I mean, he built Cardinal Park too,
right?
And so I think Hurd has a harder road to hoe with a lot of those facilities being still in pretty good condition. Volleyball obviously being the outlier with how small that space is, but volleyball, the team and the program kind of outgrew the
very rapid.
Overnight.
Yeah, it was very rapid. And it's I don't think LNN is in bad shape. It's just not big enough. Like, it's a fairly nice arena.
And there's no expandability because it's in a basement.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That is true. Yeah, there's no way that they can go upward or outward in that facility.
Not really.
Because it's already taken up.
Not for cheaper than it would be to just build a new one.
Yeah.
Those old basketball courts that they had on the other side of the arena, though. Well, I don't know if they could expand it out to be that far or not. But they used to have a lot of basketball courts over there behind the arena.
And there's still facilities back there.
I think they've taken those are like weight and training facilities for
are they
volleyball now.
Maybe. I don't think so.
Maybe not.
back in the old days. There used to be some pretty decent pickup games, and of course,
Yeah.
intramural and fraternal basketball was played in there as well. Uh, but we shall see. The one thing that we do kind of hope here and hope that we can see is that the Cards volleyball squad comes out, and obviously Anna DeBeer is going to be pretty much the engineer that drives this train, Jeff. But there's still a lot of talent back in there. A lot of talent.
There really is. There's a lot of talent back. We're going to have more position battles. We're going to have continuing position battle in the middle. You got basically three players that are going to be battling for 2 spots there, and I think it could go any combination of those 3. I think you're going to have it's going to be interesting, I think, to see what's going to happen with DSs. It's a little harder to say that's a position battle versus, who's going to be able to rise up and fill whatever need they have at DS. The amount of need for a DS varies depending upon so many other aspects of how the team is organized. Potentially position battle for setter. I got to watch a little bit while they were in Brazil to see Brigitte versus probably Ellie Glock. But even Alexis Finvold is certainly not bad. It has a shot at cracking into that position some. So yeah, we've got several position battles going on.
They will actually start with a exhibition on the 19th of August.
Traditional red and black. Yes.
It is the red and black exhibition, correct, sir? And then 6 days after that, bring in Troy. I don't know who Troy's bringing with him. Hopefully some good players.
Maybe I don't know anything about Troy.
Bob and Dave. And
yeah.
I've heard Curtis might play. Maybe Benji. Washington State and Wright State close out this first part of that home schedule there.
Yeah, Washington State will be competitive. They're pretty good.
Always a good team there.
Mm-hmm.
As we have come upon the 12 o'clock hour here. How about that? As we've covered a lot of things for you that are happening in Cardinal sports. And so what I think we'll do is kind of just roll into our final thoughts now. So when you guys want to start it at, let's start it out with Jeff today. Final thoughts, sir?
Yeah, 2 days from now on the 10th, we have the UofL takeover of the ACC network, 24 hours of UofL sports, where we win. So, spoilers. But yeah,
we'll probably be on other people's takeovers where we don't win.
Yeah, no. It's these are a lot of fun. I've actually enjoyed. These started on the 1st. Every school gets 1 day, and they started on the 1st of July. And I've watched various games and matches from some of the other teams, and they're kind of fun to watch, really. So yeah, we get ours on the 10th on Monday. There are 3 volleyball matches, which makes me happy, which is, kind of not surprising given the success of the team. But some basketball, some baseball, I think, in there. So, yeah, it's a lot of fun.
With the cards,
all day on ACC Network.
Is it predominantly a women's kind of review here?
So we've got...
Well, our men's teams weren't very good, so...
Yeah, we've got 1 men's soccer, 1 women's soccer. We got 3 volleyball. We've got lacrosse, 1 football. Field hockey has a game, the Michigan game. Women's basketball, men's basketball each has 1, and then baseball has 1. So it's relatively evenly split.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
They're showing that Michigan game. Oh, boy, that's interesting.
Yeah.
For field hockey. That was a fun game to be at.
I mean, football is the Wake Forest game, so...
Boy, what a third quarter!
Well, what happened?
Yeah,
something special happened.
Who turned the lights out on Wake Forest? Wow.
Women's soccer is against Boston College. Volleyball gets it's 7 a.m. The Kentucky match at Memorial Coliseum. That one will. Well, all 3 of these are going to get the skipping ahead treatment because they were all very long matches, but that one was particularly long. It was almost 3 hours.
They'll go straight to the 3rd set, probably, right?
No, they'll show the beginning and they'll kind of skip ahead a
What
couple
time does
times.
volleyball come on? What time did you say it was?
7 a.m. for the Kentucky match.
Hey,
That one was almost a
it'll wake you up.
3-hour match,
Arg.
so they're going to cut that one short to get it down to 2 hours. And then Oregon versus Louisville, which is a quarterfinal match that was at the KFC Center, and is at 6 p.m. And then at 8 p.m. basically the prime time slots. Louisville versus Pittsburgh in the semifinals. Where the final set went 15-2, so that one was a lot of fun. So yeah,
Well, all they'll just do that one. They'll play they'll show the full first through fourth sets, and then they'll be like, and then Louisville just beat the brakes off.
Right.
They don't really need to show you again.
Due to time constraints, we're going to move forward.
Yeah, that's how they word it. Due to time constraints. Yeah. All three of these are 2.5 to 3 hour matches, and they're being put into 2-hour time slots. So there you go.
And they're still going to sell commercials, folks. Don't you think they won't? So they will have to do some cutting.
You'll get to watch your Bell and Howell flashlight commercials. Thank you very much. Your underwater shaving thing.
I just wonder if I'm going to get any cameo appearances sitting next to the director of the AVCA in that UK one. Yeah, she was chatting me up like I was like Carts Carolee or somebody.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that one was let's see, actually for 2 of the 3 of those, the Oregon match and the Kentucky match, were both Katie George with Eric Friedel. Not Friedel. What's his name?
Eric Friedel.
Yeah, Eric Fried. And then
they were sitting right down from me. They were at that table over there in the memorial.
Yeah, and then of course Katie was also a kind of sideline reporter at the Final Four, so she's involved in that Pittsburgh one as well. So, yeah.
Always fun to go into the Kentucky Media Center to comment at the memorial, where it's basically just kind of a big room, and there's nothing else there except tables, and their stage is nothing spectacular where they bring the teams in post game. But I will give them this: they always bring in good food. You gotta love the Cats for that.
Yep.
Case, what kind of final thoughts you got for us today here, bud?
Yeah, not a lot. I was just looking at, since all of the ACC academic honor rolls were named. Well, Louisville officially put 404 students, which was very funny because I thought that they had an error on the photo.
Right?
On the website, I thought it was like, we tried to find this photo, but there wasn't one, so we got a 404 error. But no, they had 404 students record at least a 3.0 GPA.
For non-techies, a 404 error on the internet, on the web, on the World Wide Web is, this thing that you tried to request in your web browser isn't there. It doesn't exist. So yeah,
I've run into that one a couple times myself.
Yeah,
not there. Couldn't find it. Sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, 404 students with at least a 3.0. During their season. It's kind of funny the way that they word it in the article here. The league in general had 5,942 student athletes achieve that. Louisville was one of 6 schools with more than 400 students that achieved that. But doing the math out, assuming all 6 of those schools had about 400 students, then it's still almost 400 student average for the rest of the remaining 9 schools. So if you make that assumption, it's very generous. But what is probably more likely is some of those 6 schools had many more than 400, and some of the other schools had many fewer than 400. But we won't name names.
This certainly. Thanks to all the teachers who taught, the students who learned, to keep our academic standards high. Always good to see it. And of course, it keeps you in eligibility too. So hit those books, kids. It's the best thing you can do. And get good grades. The coaches love that. They love to be able to proudly point to their program and say, I had this many people on the dean's list.
Like field hockey.
Yeah, like field hockey. God, if she had a trophy case for every time she's won that award. But they do, Justine, no matter who her assistants are, no matter who her director of operations are, Justine is a firm believer and preaches the gospel about hitting the books.
Yep. You can see it as a result.
A very interesting story. Real quickly, I'll tell you before I get into my final thought. So I went up to do an interview with her one time up in the offices there. adjacent to the field, hockey field. And you walk up 80,000 steps, it seems like, to get to her office. But once you're there, the Sherpas say, we'll come back and get you later. Once you go in and sit down, you wait in a little hallway because she's usually talking with somebody. She was talking with somebody this particular day, and I heard her basically reading the riot act and pretty much the Old Testament to a player who had let her averages drop to below 2.0.
Hmm.
And in no uncertain terms, Justine laid out to her, a bit salty, I might add as well, about what she needed to do if she ever wanted to pick up a stick and play on that blanking field again. The player walked out of there looking like she had just been beat pretty severely with a wet hose. I don't blame her, though. I mean, Justin has to do what she has to do. But the beautiful thing about her is she was able to just turn it around within 30 seconds and go, hey, Polly, how are you? Come in, have a seat. It was just applying a little bit of motivation to one of my players to get her grades up.
Just a little bit.
Woof. Yeah, if I'd ever run into anybody like that in my college days, I probably would have had a 4.0 the rest of the way. Final thoughts on this side, Maisha Hines Allen. You have got some hard work ahead of you, girl, because your Washington Mystics, Natasha Cloud out with a right ankle.
Oh,
Elena De La Don out with a left ankle. Shakira Austin, left hip strain. Christy Tolliver, right leg plantar fasciitis. All 4 out. So, 4 pretty important players, I do believe, for the Mystics there. Hopefully, the Maisha will be able to step into that void and do some wonderful things for them as one of our WNBA pros. Certainly, she's got the talent and definitely the motivation to do it. Let's see if she can get it done. So, good luck to Maisha. Then that'll kind of do it for us today. I want to thank everybody for listening, and certainly read the articles each day in Cardinal Couple. We'll bring you the best we can on the days we present them. Until then, everybody have a great weekend and go Cards.